Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Gemini energy, and for this round, I'm asking what's going on in Gemini energy, and then why is this going on in Gemini energy? What is some advice for Gemini, and what could be a possible outcome if people were to follow the advice? So, keep in mind that not everybody harnesses high vibe Gemini energy. We all tap into Gemini energy. Air sign energy of the mind, how we think, how we feel, how we view life, how we view love. Do we think, we have this dualistic nature? Are we going to align with our more, listen to our intuition, have hope and faith and belief in our dreams, believe in love, believe in ourselves, believe we have what it takes to manifest our dreams? Or do we align with our more worldly nature, our fear, our ego, and think that all we have to work with is the things of the world, and then we could ignore listening to our intuition? Some people decide to align with their worldly nature because they don't want to do love. You can get hurt doing love, and some people have decided, I'm not doing it. Some people think I'll just manipulate people to get them to do what I want in a relationship. And so we're going to be talking about how people harness their Gemini energy. High vibe, more worldly focused, or more shadowy focused. And listen to your intuition at where you're at and how you harness your Gemini energy. If you harness high vibe, you'd probably want to be with some people who harness high vibe. So, and then we just need to see the truth of that we're kind of in a mismatched relationship. So, what is going on in Gemini energy? The Five of Wands and the King of Cups. The Five of Wands can mean some people are conflicted within themselves right now. Do they do love? Love themselves, believe in themselves, believe in their dreams? Or do they have inner conflict about doing that because you do take a risk of getting hurt, and they might be battling within themselves? Or is what I love more, is it more about the world, or me being indulged, or my ego, or my image? Because the Aquarius star card can be, what do I want to do? Do I want people to view me a certain way? Is that what's most important? Do I think living the dream is indulging myself or getting in a relationship where either someone indulges me or I indulge them because they have these things of the world that I want? But if we have a job, or we're in some type of organization or some type of relationship, and if the other people seem to have inner conflict about maybe being more emotionally mature in the King of Cups, can our dream come into reality there? If we're in a job or a relationship and people have a lot of inner conflict about having learned lessons in love, if they're very competitive, shadowy Leo, if they're very prideful, egotistical, self-centered, shadowy Aquarius. The King of Cups I view as Cancer energy. Have people learned lessons in love? Have the fives in tarot can talk about change. Have people changed in a sense that they've looked at life in high vibe Aquarius energy from a higher perspective? That if I want to have a dream come into reality where I'm working together with others, I need to emotionally grow up and mature myself. I need to look at the bigger picture. I need to work cooperatively with people. I need to temper it being all about me or about my ego. There's some of you that are very loving people, and some people would like to be in a relationship with you, but they can't kind of decide and have a lot of inner conflict about either making you an offer because of their fear or their insecurity or their ego, or because they know that you do look at life from a higher perspective and you're not willing to stay in a job or a relationship just because of the ego and the image. And if that's how they operate and that's how they view life, it can be a problem because you're more motivated and want relationships based on truth and love and justice and fairness, and they might have a problem with some of those issues, those areas. If they're more motivated by the world, they'd like to be in relationships with people who are more motivated by the world. If they're fearful of love, They might want to be in relationships with people who are loving, but they don't really like to be loving themselves. Then they'd be harnessing a more shadowy Cancer energy within themselves, where they kind of like to wear a false mask. Can't I present myself as loving to you? And when we go out in the world, we present ourselves as these loving family people. But I'm really kind of more about the world and ego and image than love. I don't really authentically connect in with my emotions and my intuition. And I have a problem kind of embracing the energy of love where I freely give of myself, because that makes me vulnerable. And some of you might be wondering if some people that you would like to have your dreams come into reality, if they trying to figure out if they really are who they say they are. Are they someone who's motivated and inspired by love and to bring a dream into reality based on truth and love and justice and fairness? Or are they kind of wearing a false mask and is it more about ego and image? So why is this going on in Gemini energy right now? The Queen of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, the Judgment card, the Five of Swords, and the Magician because of the Page of Pentacles. Some people are having inner conflict because some of the people that are more worldly and ego-based, there could have been someone that they really felt like that's who they wanted to be in a relationship with. Those people view life the way I do. They're motivated and inspired by the same things I am. But, we have this dualistic nature. We have the extremes like Mother Teresa and Jesus over here. And then we have narcissists and self-centered, egotistical people over here. And then we have, if the bell curve is correct, most of the people are kind of trying to pick their path and still trying to get clear about what their truth is. And anytime we get in a relationship with someone, it's trying to find out, are we kind of on the same page at the same time? Are you a little bit more controlling or materialistic or self-centered? Are you a little bit more willing to get out of your ego to work cooperatively? And are we a little more tipped into kind of letting love guide our decisions versus our fears and our insecurities or something? And some of the shadowy people wanted to invest in someone that was on this kind of lives their life the way they want to live their life. But the other person could have had some type of mental conflict about investing in them. Maybe they didn't feel like they were being authentic, like they were trying to manipulate them. Some of the shadowy people are right now trying to get someone who they think they can manipulate to get in a relationship with them. And some of the people that they're trying to manipulate right now are like, I don't know if I want to get in a more stable, grounded relationship with you, or maybe possibly marry you, because I don't know. I don't know if you've really healed. I kind of feel like either you're kind of manipulative or more ego, worldly based than I am, or I think you're kind of immature and you have some growing up to do. So the whole thing is, if we get in these mismatched relationships, and if one person is kind of more motivated and inspired by love, the Five of Swords and high vibe would be people who do believe in their dream. With the Page of Pentacles, the Five of Swords is again Aquarius energy, represented by the Star card. I have a dream and I want to manifest that dream. Are you is that why you want to be in this relationship, stay in this relationship, get in this relationship? Or are you more about ego and image? And, some people want to get in relationships with people who've already been in relationships with other people. And they're kind of wondering, why did that end? That relationship seemed very stable and, the people seem loving and nice. And, maybe you guys were together a long time. It's like, why did that end? For some of the people, they were shadowy and they realized, well, everybody has the free will to live their life whatever way they want. And if some people who are more motivated by ego and image and money and materialism, if they quit one relationship that could have been more emotionally fulfilling, but it was more about love, and by worldly standards, it could have looked successful, but they just didn't know, being in a relationship with someone who is very nurturing and loving, but they really didn't know if they would have all the stability or the money or the status. Some people really want to keep up with the Joneses, and that's most important to them. And they could have ended that type of relationship with someone who was being authentic and had that hopeful, believing nature, but they kind of align with their more worldly nature and kind of not as motivated maybe by love. And so they could have ended a relationship that was more love based, getting in a new relationship, and then people wonder, why did that other relationship end? And then, the people, how to, I think honesty is the best policy, I guess, for, why not be truthful and tell people, we got along good, there's a lot of good things about it, but I was kind of more really wanting to build a nest egg or something. And it just seemed like we were on different pages about that. This person could have been very loving and nurturing, but maybe they had very little to offer, and I mean, we all want to be in relationships with people who put in work and effort for stability and security and the finer things in life. And, we could say that we were looking for someone who was kind of seemed to be more driven and motivated to put work and effort towards having that long-term stability. And maybe some people aren't as concerned about that, so they wanted to get in a relationship with someone who they thought was more on the same page as them. But people can have mental conflict about telling other people that they are kind of more motivated by money or materialism. Or, some people could have entered a relationship because someone else made them an offer. And some people right now are going through this, somebody else who seems like they are on the same page as me, if I'm more materialistically motivated, and they're kind of more on this, or ego or materialistic, that's more important, and someone's making me an offer to live my life like that. The other people could be saying, gee, I have someone who seems nurturing and loving, and I have mental conflict about leaving the relationship I'm in. So the whole thing is, we should align with our truth, because otherwise it's going to cause us a lot of mental conflict. And we've all got lessons to learn in life. And regardless if we're more love focused or a more worldly focused, I have a key on each one of these, because we're going to learn lessons either way. I think my perception is, I think we came here to try to get clear about what our truth is at any given moment in our life, and we're going to learn lessons. And I think if we choose to take action in a way that's aligned with our truth and what we love, we're going to learn lessons. I think if we do make it more about ego or image, in kind of a win at all costs attitude is what the Five of Swords can be. And some people can feel like they're in relationships, or that people want them to stay in relationships or jobs more for the ego or the image. And it's like, what about love? And that some people seem to want to win at all costs, and they're manipulative and they're immature. And, so I think people are really trying to decide what is aligned with my truth. And I think the people who aren't being honest are the people who are really having a lot more inner conflict than some other people, because the other people, if there was things that they were involved in that weren't aligned with their truth, they got out of it. And I think they have less inner conflict. I think the people who know that they're more ego-driven or egotistical and like to be indulged, or they're more materialistic, I think those people still have a lot of inner conflict within them, because I think life-giving energy, kind of represented by God, and our shadowy energy, where we have lessons to learn, represented by the devil. I think the people who are trying to present themselves as people in the world, that I'm this loving family person, you should get in a relationship with me, all of our dreams will come into reality, but they know the truth, that they don't really operate from love. They do make decisions more out of fear and insecurity or pride or ego, or being wanting to be indulged, or because I want to look like a shining star in the world and I want to look like the winner or successful, or money and materialism is more important. I think they're going to have a lot of inner conflict within them because they're trying to present themselves as someone who harnesses high vibe Gemini energy, but they don't. But sometimes people who are kind of like to be indulged, or are egotistical, or are self-centered, or very driven by ego and image, part of making it look like their dream came into reality, the dream could be, I want to be shadowy, defensive, immature, prideful, egotistical, and I want you to be loving. And I want you to have good discipline within yourself. I don't want you to act like me. I don't want you to try to manipulate me. I don't want you to try to control me. I don't want you to be immature. I don't want you to be egotistical and self-centered. I'm the star of the show. And my dream is to get in a relationship with someone who's loving, who has inner conflict about loving themselves and believing in their own dreams, that they don't get in a relationship with someone like me, because you deserve to be in a relationship with someone like yourself. Because if we get in mismatched relationships, it's kind of like one person has to concede to another person. The scales of justice are kind of tipped more in the favor of someone else. You're not both going towards the same dream based on love. You both haven't changed. You both haven't looked at life from a higher perspective. You're both not taking action out of love. One person can be in it. They've changed. They've looked at life from a higher perspective. They've chosen to align with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. So they don't take action more out of their shadowy nature. They offer love to the situation. They maintain balance within themselves. When conflict happens in a relationship, they are grown and matured and have healed, learn lessons in life that love's the answer. They take action out of love. But if you're in a mismatched relationship, the other person tries to present themselves as being that type of person. But then when there's conflict in the relationship, they operate more from their ego. Well, I should be indulged. No, you should do it my way. You should do life the way I want you to do it. Some people are just going through that right now. Other people have already gotten out of these types of relationships. And they're trying to manifest a new beginning, and then it can be difficult because it just takes time to emotionally detach. There's certain people in our life, whether that's your siblings, parents, adult children, friends, romantic interests. We wish those people would have been in our life all of our life and worked together with us in a loving, cooperative way, and some of them aren't. So then, it's kind of like, you do you. However you want to live your life. But high vibe people have meditated on the truth that it is supposed to be about truth and love and justice and fairness and treating other people the way you like to be treated. And some people are still caught up in the illusion of themselves. So it's like, you do what you want to go do, and I'm going to go do hang out with the people who are more aligned with my truth. And the Five of Wands can mean, because the Five of Wands comes after the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is like a foundation of self. And then the wand can be taking action to bring that dream into reality. And some people are ready to move forward in life differently because they have changed. They have done this work within themselves to love themselves. They have looked at life from a higher perspective. And it's kind of coming to peace about the situation. I'm not in my ego about it. They're driven and motivated by what they're driven and motivated by. They're not kind of motivated by the things I'm motivated by. And I've just seen the truth of it. And high vibe people wish other people peace and joy because that's the best foundation to live your life from. And it means like the Wheel of Fortune will go in your favor. Some of the people who were kind of shadowy had some loving people in their life tell them that I'm leaving. I'm not going to stay at this job or in this relationship anymore because you wanted me to kind of indulge you emotionally, because the queens can be about how we think and feel. You wanted me to kind of indulge you emotionally, investing in your more immature worldly nature. You weren't willing to be a student of life. You weren't willing to have kind of that more hopeful, believing spirit to get out of your ego. You turned your back on your more emotionally intuitive nature, and you keep kind of indulging your more immature nature, your fear, your insecurity, your pride, your ego. And you're not willing in the judgment card to hold yourself accountable, to change, to heal, to why don't you choose love? And that's for them to figure out. But eventually we see the truth that they're not choosing love, that they're either more motivated to indulge themselves in whatever has a hold on them. Either I just like to indulge myself. Other people shouldn't hold me accountable. Other people should turn their back on judgment, and they should indulge me indulging myself. They should be in a relationship with me and indulge me being in my more immature nature because I indulge my own immature nature. And that's how they think it's just and fair. They could think if they're more motivated and inspired by money and materialism and they have those things and it looks like you're a shining star and you got all these things of the world, well then what the fuck? Get in a relationship and you be the loving person, I'll be the more worldly focused person, and we'll keep doing life like this. But again, if one of them is more motivated kind of to grow and heal and mature, because life-giving energy is where you go through phases of life. We were all 15 once. It was great to be 15, but then we were going to become like an 18-year-old and we needed to detach from our more immature ways of viewing life. And it's time to face our fears and insecurities and heal and grow and become like an 18-year-old. And we did that when we became 21 and when we became 25. And we're supposed to do that throughout our life. But some people said, no, when I get to a certain status in life, like I just want to get married, then I'm done. So you're never going to heal or grow or mature anymore? Nope, I just want to get married. That's what I thought would make me happy, and you're supposed to make me happy. Now I got married to you. You're supposed to make my dreams come true. It's like, whatever baggage you carried into this marriage, you're going to have those forever. Never going to heal. Never want to manifest anything different. Never willing to move forward in life any differently and detach from some of those old ways of being. Nope. No, I'm going to do life just like this. And then other people think, I have status or money or materialism. I don't have to. There's going to be people who want to be in a relationship with me. They want the things of the world that I have. I'm going to offer them things of the world. Do you have mental conflict about believing you can manifest your dreams into reality based on love? You want to indulge me for money or status or image or power or just to be in a relationship, to the benefits of being in a relationship? Do you want to look like you've got these things that other people in the world have, even though you might not have found the right person who seems to be on the same page as you? You want to indulge me for a while? Well, then, I don't think most people do that. I think we kind of we're on the same page in some regard. We have pain, heartbreak, self-limiting beliefs. We want these things of the world. It's just some people still had hope and faith and belief and love that people were going to work together cooperatively, and some people did. Right now we have some people, things maybe hadn't worked out in a prior relationship. It did cause them mental conflict. They didn't give up on believing in their dreams. They got in a new relationship. They've both changed. They both learned lessons in life. They both look at life from a higher perspective. They're both on the same page. Those people are going to keep healing together. Why? Because on the Six of Cups, they have like a deep, meaningful relationship. They work well together. They're on the same page. They have the same truth. And those people are going to keep learning lessons in life. And they're going, if they're high vibe, they're going to keep learning lessons in life. And they're going to put, whenever we're in anything in life, there's things that come up because we live in a world of duality where we have free will. We can make a different choice. And those people aren't going to backstab and betray themselves. They've already learned the lesson. If I don't love and believe in myself and kind of like love my own inner child, to have that hopeful, believing spirit that I'm in relationships with people, I'm going to screw this up. And so I call judgment on myself. If something comes up that's starting to cause me mental conflict, I have to deal within myself what is causing me mental conflict. Am I tempted to go in my ego because there's other people in the world that I go get in relationships with. I could go indulge in a relationship with them. And we can all be tempted at times. And some people, because they're in loving, nurturing, supportive relationships, they work through their mental conflict about being kind of manipulated by their more worldly, immature, indulgent nature. And they deal with their inner conflict. It's like, wait a minute, my dream is to be the Four of Swords is Libra energy represented by the scales of justice. I want to be in a just and fair and balanced, deep, meaningful, loving relationship. And I'm in that. So, just because there might be other people in the world that could make me an offer, or they're in the world that if I wanted to make them an offer, I could, why would I do that? I'd kind of that's an unknown. And if I'm already in relationships with people who are working with me cooperatively in a balanced way, in a loving way, are truthful and honest and loving and encouraging, I'm not going to backstab myself or this job or this relationship. What's this card? The Devil in reverse. I'm not going to be tempted to let go. So that's what kind of high vibe people do in a relationship. And that's what some high vibe people are doing right now in a relationship. Some of you might be the one who is not in a relationship, wanting to, the Page of Pentacles is just making small gestures to people, getting to know people. You could be know your worth and value. You're emotionally independent of something you became independent from. You want to have your dreams come into reality. You've already learned lessons about people that you'd been previously in relationships with. You're looking to manifest something new. Some of you, are working to maintain balance in yourself from a place of love and wanting your dreams come into reality. And, you're meeting people in the world. Well, some of those people are in relationships already, and it could be kind of causing them some inner conflict because they could view you as someone that really seems to be on the same page as them. And if it's someone, the Six of Cups can talk about people from our past. So sometimes it's people from our past, or you remind them of someone from their past. That some people are tempted because they have fond memories of you, or they could feel like you're a little bit more on the same page as them. But if they're already in loving, balanced relationships, why would they get out of it? For others of you who might be making offers to people, or people making offers to you, if it could be causing some people inner conflict, just knowing there's other people in the world, or if anybody made them an offer, or their own kind of inner child nature is saying. So the thing is, we could look at people outside in the world as kind of representing, they are their own individuals, but we live in a world of duality. There's some people aligned with their more worldly nature. There's some people aligned with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And then we're living our life and we see these different people in the world. And it's kind of like, which one are we going to align with? Which one are we in? Which kind of people are we aligned with right now? And some people could be having some mental conflict because maybe they could feel they, or the person if they are in a relationship right now, have some inner conflict about if their dreams are going to come into those reality with those people, because they could have gotten in the relationship because something else had ended. We've all been in relationships and gotten out of one relationship and gotten in another one. But why did they get in the relationship? Or initially, did they think it started out great, but then as time went by, we do kind of realize we look at life differently, that we are kind of motivated and inspired by other things. Someone seems to wear more of a false mask, or might be a little more about the ego and the image than the other person is more, maybe a little more self-centered and about themselves than the other person. And so then it causes conflict for those people in those relationships that, who do I want to heal a relationship with? Who do I want to move forward with? And so the advice for people who are having inner conflict is to meditate on the truth. Who harnesses high vibe Scorpio energy of the Six of Cups? Who does our intuition tell us is someone that we can have a deep, meaningful relationship with? Who is someone who might be a little more superficial and shallow? What's our truth? Who do I want to work with? If I have inner conflict about being in a more deep, meaningful relationship, why? I need to heal from that. I need to figure out, why am I afraid of being in a more deep, meaningful relationship? Why would I prefer to maybe be in a relationship with someone who maybe doesn't seem to be on the same page? Sometimes I think we can want to stay in a relationship. Sometimes I think, I can only talk about my own experience. Why do people maybe kind of get in a relationship like, oh, you seem like a working project. I'm going to love you. You're going to see things from my way. You're going to choose me. You're going to choose love. I'm sure you'll heal. I'm sure you'll grow. You'll mature. Kind of that maybe could be us a little bit in our ego, kind of like our God Savior complex. Also, if it doesn't work out, oh well, that person really wasn't ever on the same page as me anyway. They were kind of more immature and impulsive. They were kind of this way, that way, whatever. And it kind of is us, I think, in a way, kind of protecting our ego. But if we got in a relationship with someone who really was on the same page as us, that is going to challenge us more. So it's kind of weird, right? I don't think, again, people who have this idea of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to heal them. Oh my gosh, I'm going to love them. Oh my gosh, they're going to choose love. I don't think they view it that way, as kind of like, look at me. Oh my gosh, I'm like the shining star in their life. Oh my gosh, I'm going to help them see life from a higher perspective. But why aren't we choosing to get in relationships with people who aren't a work in progress? Why are we choosing to offer love to people who seem to have a lot of inner conflict about love, about having hope and faith and belief in themselves or in their dreams? I mean, it's good to be loving and encouraging to people, but why are we getting in relationships with people who aren't on the same page as us? And I think part of it is because, that is going to be a little more challenging, and it might bring up issues within us that we need to heal. And we might, we all can repeat patterns of the past, so we can have a pattern of being in relationships with people who don't treat us the way we treat people. And so being in relationships with people who do, it's uncomfortable. It's out of our comfort zone. I'm used to being in relationships with people who might be a little more immature, might have mental conflict about love, might have inner conflict about believing in and it's just my comfort zone. I know how to work with these people. And it's uncomfortable to step out of our comfort zone, but and so that's why it requires us to heal. Because in order to move forward in life differently, the truth sets us free. And we'll keep repeating a pattern until it causes us so much inner conflict, like, shit, this isn't working, and we're not on the same page, and maybe I got in this relationship because I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted my dreams to come into reality, but I wasn't waiting for the person who really seemed to be on the right page as me. And then I get in relationships and there's these problems or arguing or fighting. And it's like, I don't want to be like a parent to someone. I don't want someone to be like a parent to me. With the King of Cups to the Page of Pentacles. And that's making me think of another pattern we can repeat. Again, a pattern from childhood. And the Six of Cups can talk. Oops, got an alarm on my phone. The Six of Cups can be childhood. And we were all children. We were all in relationships with people that we kind of looked up to and admired to be the people that helped us feel stable and secure and loved us and, things like that. And until we learn to take over that job within ourselves, we're going to repeat a pattern of getting in relationships with people where it is kind of like we're looking for someone to play that role in our life. And then there's other people in the world that like playing that role. I like it that you're more codependent and looking for someone to mother you or father you. I like playing that role. It makes me feel loving. I like it when people look up to me. I like it when people view me as nurturing. But the problem is when children leave home and they rebel against their parents. And so when we get in those kind of mismatched relationships, initially it seems great. Oh my gosh, here's someone who seems loving and nurturing, and, I'll be able to manifest the dream of this emotionally balanced, healed, loving relationship. And sometimes we were subconsciously drawn to people who remind us of people in our past. And part of it can be because we have unresolved issues that we didn't maybe even know we really had. Or it's like, that always kind of bothered me about them, that they seemed to have mental conflict about investing in me, or they were pursuing their own things, or I kind of felt like they were caught up in things instead of me. This time, you kind of subconsciously remind me of them, but now I'm going to be in a relationship with you or able to marry you. And of course, if we can be in a full-fledged relationship, unlike I could with people in my life that were friends or family members, now you'll really love me. Now my dream will come into reality. And we could both be repeating patterns. And we get in these relationships with people where there is kind of maybe this imbalanced relationship, or teacher, student, parent, child. And if one person does the work to heal and learn, like I'm growing up now, in this environment that you provided, and us working together, it made me heal from some of my issues, and now I'm ready to manifest my dreams into reality. And if the other person at the same time in the relationship wasn't doing that work within themselves, they don't want the dynamic to change. No, I like you being more codependent. I like you being more fearful and insecure or whatever. I like you viewing me this certain way. And I have a problem with getting into a more just and fair and balanced relationship, because this could be the type of relationship dynamic I like. And I wasn't ever planning to do the healing and the growing to align with my more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And that's when relationships can end. One person did the work to want to heal, and we've all got issues from our past, our own inner child nature we need to heal. And other people could have decided a long time ago that it was either always supposed to be more about them, and that can be their immature nature. No, the pattern is you indulge me like my parents did. And I was like, I don't want to indulge you like your parents did. And some of them have mental conflict about stepping outside their comfort zone or looking at life from a higher perspective. I always thought life was about getting in a relationship, and you put this work and effort to have this stability and security, and everybody's supposed to be happy, and nobody's supposed to want for more, and nobody's ever supposed to change, and nobody's supposed to listen to their intuition. You make your life all about the world, and other people have a problem with that. So the high vibe people, regardless of if they're in a relationship with people who are on the same page as them, they're both motivated by truth and love. Some people might make people offers right now to tell them they want to heal things. And then you just have to listen to your intuition to see if you seem like you're on the same page or not. If some people who might make some of you offers, they could view you as a loving person, but they're still not aligned with that. But they're just hoping you have inner conflict about believing your dreams will come into reality. Whether it's someone from your past or someone new. And it's like, I've changed. I'm not the same person. I'm maintaining balance within myself to love and believe in myself. I'm not settling for less anymore. And if I get to know someone and someone makes me an offer, I make someone an offer, to get to know them, to see if we're on the same page. The swords can talk about communication. uh, to try to get to know, what is the truth of people? Are they being authentic? Do they seem to have healed from their past? Do they seem to want to repeat a past pattern? Are they more about just wanting to be in a relationship to be in a relationship? It's like, I don't want to be in a relationship just to be in a relationship. Do they have mental conflict about love? Is it more about ego and image? Are they mad at someone else because they're in a relationship or they got in a relationship or they had wanted them to grow and mature and heal and they're just trying to manipulate someone else? There's some people right now that are in a relationship trying to act, they're in a relationship with competition, not the person they really want to be in a relationship with. And they're trying to manipulate the person they really want to be in a relationship with by, that would be shadowy energy. Look, I'm going to go get in a relationship with the competition to bother you. Does it bother you enough to get out of your ego or whatever to make me this offer? Some people could, well, I think if you're not in a relationship right now, I mean, some people could think you're getting in a relationship or in a relationship because you're trying to manipulate them. There's just no kind of, it's amazing the screwy way some people can think. And some people who do operate more from their shadowy nature, it is trying to cause people mental conflict. It is trying to manipulate people. It is operating out of pride and ego. It is wearing a false mask. Some of those people, shadowy energies where people aren't seeing things clearly because their judgment's clouded. And they could view other people in the world as doing that to them, and those people aren't doing it to them, but they don't see it. The other people have changed, and they're still over here trying to manipulate people, thinking they're manipulating you, wanting to maybe use you as a pawn to manipulate someone else, and it's just like thinking you're just trying to manipulate them, and it's just like, oh my gosh. You do you. I'm going to keep focused on the truth and love. And over time, because again, with Scorpio energy, we have these deep emotional feelings. We're emotionally complex human beings. Eventually, the high vibe people will have completely detached from these people who just don't get it. Not everybody's wearing a false mask. Not everybody's trying to manipulate and control you. And some people, because they think everybody's trying to manipulate and control them, and everybody, it's like projecting their own negative traits onto other people, that everybody, is trying to use me. And boy, if somebody's going to use me, boy, it's going to be my way or the highway. And they really got some healing to do, but they probably won't. We either are willing to look at life from a higher perspective and deal with our inner conflict, or in our ego, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to heal. I don't have to look at life any differently. I'm not going to make myself vulnerable to being hurt by doing love. And they'll probably just keep repeating the same old pattern. And they'll just hide from people. When a card's in reverse and shadow, it can mean they're very toxic. A lot of issues that they don't deal with, but they're unwilling to learn the lesson. They put an end, because the world card is supposed to be about completing a cycle, but they never complete the cycle. They never work through all their thoughts and all their conflicted feelings to get to the truth. And they could just decide, if people aren't willing to do life the way I want it, or indulge me, or let me manipulate them, or view me like a shining star, or make me the center of attention, well then screw them. I'm going to backstab and betray them. And they never put an end to that philosophy of life. You have to be willing to get out of your ego to even admit that I have some lessons to learn. I have some growing up to do. I have some maturing to do. And some people are very prideful and egotistical. Some people have cultivated this mask of how they present themselves in the world, and they believe how they present themselves to the world. Everybody else could think they seem like a complete idiot. But they're like, oh no, look at what I'm doing, and look at this image that I have, male or female. Look at the status I have. Look at the relationships I'm in. Look at the people who are indulging me. Look at me. I got it all. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, why don't they quit investing and living their life that way, or investing people like that? And they could think, oh my gosh, people view me so successfully. And other people are like, oh my gosh, you just backstabbed yourself. Can you not see the truth? You're not operating from love. You're way out of balance in your ego or your indulgence or your materialistic nature. It's got a hold on you. And that's what our shadow nature is about. Oh, you didn't learn that you had lessons to learn about loving and believing in yourself and offering yourself love and compassion and forgiveness to get out of your more immature egoic nature, to learn lessons and grow up and mature yourself and face your fears and insecurities. Well, you got some hard lessons to learn, because the devil's going to come in your life. And sometimes the devil is loving people that come in their life. It challenges their belief system, which is what the Seven of Pentacles talks about, their philosophy of life and how they view life. And then it's an opportunity for them to heal. But some of those people reject the gift of love, of loving people in their life that aren't trying to manipulate and control them. Because no, I can't get hurt. No, I don't ever let my more authentic, vulnerable nature out to play in the world. I operate from my ego, so I don't get hurt. And so I think this is the good thing to do. And for them, it maybe is what helps them maintain balance within themselves. We're all ready to step forward in life differently and face our fears, at different times than other people. We just got to realize that some people will never step out and do things differently, because some people can be very caught up in those things. The love of money is the root of all evil. For some people, that's their vice, because that's how they define their worth and value. What about I'm more balanced? What about I put in work and effort to have stability and security, and I don't really give a damn what the rest of the world thinks of me. I want to be in relationships with people who treat me in a just and fair and loving manner. I want to be proud of myself that I treat people in a loving, just and fair manner. And I have this very abundant life that's abundant in lots of ways. And some people are like, no way, man. If I don't get a plaque on the wall when I die and people talk about how much I owned and how much money I had and blah, blah, the emotional loving component becomes less and less and less significant. And it can ruin probably more lives than drugs or alcohol, because it's like the hidden epidemic. We all need money and things to survive, but the things of the world are meant to be enjoyed, but from a place of love, so you don't let it get such a stranglehold on you that you reject loving, supportive people because you're so sure that other thing, or the money, or the ego, or the drugs, or the alcohol, or the gambling, or the food is what's going to make you happy. You don't got to do love, And some people are just unwilling to let go of those things. Other people who are currently in those mismatched relationships, they're going to meditate on the truth. Who is wanting to move forward in a relationship that is aligned with my truth? And whatever my truth is, to make peace with the fact that I could have gotten in relationships, or I'm currently in a relationship with people that is just not my truth. And for some people, it's because they're unwilling to let go of their fear, their insecurity, their ego, their image, their lust, their greed, their more immature nature. So they're more motivated by the world, and they're not willing to let go of those things that have a stranglehold on them. And the other people are. The other people have realized that their more worldly nature, or ego nature, or fear nature, or something kind of was running their life. And they realized, though we can have love for certain things about our past, that it's time to love our foundation enough to get balanced within ourselves, to incorporate love into our philosophy of life, so we can Instead of being tipped more into our worldly or fear or ego nature, we can be more tipped into our more hopeful, believing nature, because that sets us free to go invest in our dreams, to overcome our fears and insecurities, and to love ourselves enough to walk away from things that are more of an illusion, trying to appeal maybe to our fear, our insecurity, our lust, our greed. Something that could be more emotionally shallow and superficial, but it has a lot of things of the world that we want, but it's really not kind of deep, meaningful relationships based on love. And the other people are going to keep moving forward in their illusion, indulging themselves in it of the things that they think will make them happy. Some people have already indulged in those things of the world, thinking those things were going to make them happy, and they realize they didn't. And that there's more to life than just indulging in those things, or being in their fear didn't make them happy, being in their insecurity didn't make them happy, being in their ego or indulging, and they did this work within themselves to deal with, to love themselves and believe in themselves and heal. And those people are going to move forward in life differently than they were moving forward before. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Gemini energy that they might not see coming up? The Knight of Swords not showing itself because of the High Priestess. If you made an offer to someone and that person's not moving forward to heal things with you, I think you're okay with the fact that I'm not going to let anything keep me stuck, because that's kind of what the devil tries to do. I don't know the truth of everything and why everybody is where they're at. I don't have to know everyone's truth. All I have to know is I offered love and resources to people to move forward with me. If those people don't, it could be some of these different reasons, or they're in a loving relationship of their own. But if that idea didn't come into reality, if you're going to manifest something with someone else, both people have to be on the same page. It's like, okay, I'm going to listen to my intuition. And if I already communicated my truth, I don't need to be chasing after people. Well, didn't you hear what I said? And blah, blah, blah. It's like, I communicated my truth. I don't have to keep repeating it. And so I think you're also not reaching out to people if you've already communicated your truth to them. Now in the High Priestess energy is kind of just to sit back and observe to see what action other people take. And again, if we're kind of in mismatched relationships and we tell them our truth, I want to move forward and heal, and those people are like, I think I'd rather keep repeating this pattern and I'll just go find someone else to repeat that pattern with. It's like, okay, well, people's actions speak volumes. They don't have to speak to you and tell you who they are or what drives and motivates them. Their actions speak volumes. And some of the people, again, it depends on how well you know people. I think the people in your life that are all about show and illusion and trying to confuse people about the truth of who they are and are manipulative and have a lot of healing to do. Odds are they're going to keep moving forward and you are not talking to them, and you don't need them to tell you the truth of who they are. You know the truth. And some of those people could be sitting back here thinking that you still want to heal things with them. They're still in their ego. And it's like, I've moved on. They just don't know it yet. And for people that you might meet that you might have wanted to be in a relationship with, you speak your truth, then you see what other people do by the actions of what they choose to invest in. And if it's not in you, it's like, so be it. I love and believe in myself. I assume, life's about learning lessons. Maybe God knows that I don't have lessons to learn from you, or I've learned all the lessons I was meant to learn from you. So I wish you peace, and I'm going to keep moving on. Apparently that didn't work. I'm going to love myself to keep moving forward. High vibe energy, kind of like God, doesn't let negative energy and people not investing in them stop them from trying to create what they're trying to create. I just need to work with the people who are on the same page. And if that doesn't seem to be you, well, then apparently you're not the person. And I'm not going to sit like arguing with God saying, but God, I want them, but God, I want them. And God's like, they have free will and they're not doing it. If you want to sit here in your inner conflict waiting forever, you can. It's one thing to give people time to work through their own issues. But there comes a point in time where, okay, it's time for me to keep trucking forward. And, if it's that new job or new friend or new romantic relationship, I'm just going to keep moving forward. Okay, what's coming up for the people that might harness a little more shadowy Gemini energy that they don't see coming? Well, for one, some people are surprised that people call judgment on other people and on them. And because some people call judgment on other people and those people are moving forward, there could be some people who are kind of in those mismatched relationships that are kind of shadowy that could make them think, why don't I do that? Why don't I heal? Why don't I reconcile myself with the past? Why don't I quit investing and living my life the way I've been living it and some of the people I've been hanging around with? Why don't I love myself enough to get more balance within myself, to believe in myself and believe in my dreams? And that's what high vibe energy does. I'm not going to try to manipulate you and control you and, cry at your feet about why don't you choose love, blah, blah. You tell people, it's kind of reminds me of Jesus and the disciples going out and telling people the good news. You tell people the good news and they didn't sit there and cry at their feet. It's like you offer them the good news. If they're not on that page, you see that they're not on that page for whatever reason they're not. That's for God to deal with and for them to deal with, because you're looking for the people who are on the same page as you. But loving people offer like love and treat people with respect and kindness. And sometimes just meeting other people who treat people like that can be enough to make other people say, why am I hanging out with these people when there's these other types of people in the world? And if, why don't I choose to hang out with people more who are like that? So some of them could be surprised that some loving people in their life are calling judgment on them. They didn't think, because they reject taking action in truth and balance. 2 cards of Libra energy. You have to get balance within yourself first to maybe get the justice you deserve. Not like God won't bring loving people into your life, but then you have to speak your truth and you have to do this work within yourself. Offer yourself the love and compassion and forgiveness for the mistakes you've made to heal from the past. Offer love and compassion to the people in your life. They were at where they were at. I want the justice I deserve. And some of the people who they liked being in relationship with, because they were like just and fair and loving and balanced, those people are leaving their life because these people seem to have mental conflict about being on the same page as them. And some of those people have now seen the truth and they're going to heal from this situation, not going to stay in relationships with people who are creating a little hell on earth when they can hang out with people who are creating a little heaven on earth. And they're going to put an end to feeling backstabbed in these relationships, and they're going to love themselves to move forward and find the other loving people in the world. And they don't see that coming. Another thing they might not see coming is there are going to be people who want to be in a relationship with them. There's always other, just like you, there's going to be people in the world who are looking for people. There's a lot of people who have a lot of lessons to learn in life. And God is using these shadowy people to teach people a lot of lessons. People who are naive and gullible, who think everybody will choose love. It's like, no, they won't. Did you listen to your intuition? You haven't learned to listen to your intuition? Okay, bring those shadowy people in. We got some people here who are naive and gullible. We've got some people repeating some past patterns. We got some people in their God Savior complex. We got some people who haven't healed. We got some people who haven't learned to love and believe in themselves. I mean, these shadowy people are busy. They got a lot of lessons to teach people. And high vibe people are just teaching people kind of by example, they're offering love and respect to people, but they're not indulging in their more immature egoic nature because they've already learned that that creates a little hell on earth in their life, and they've already learned the lessons. The high priestess is like emotionally the highest energy in tarot. You've learned to listen to your intuition. You watch and observe the actions that people take in their life, and you don't stay in denial of the truth. When people show you they're immature and impulsive, yep, I went out with immature and impulsive people. Yep, we're friends. I treat you like I treat a lot of people. I might be attracted to you. You seem like someone that I'd like to have a dream come into reality with, but I've already went out with immature, impulsive people, prideful, egotistical people, bossy, controlling people, fake people, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not settling. I don't want to repeat that pattern. Another thing they might not see coming, though, is someone else does want to get in a relationship with them. Somebody might be making them an offer. Well, then, they could be wondering, can I manipulate this person? Are they going to repeat this pattern with me? Have they given up on loving and believing in themselves that they'll stay in a relationship with me? Or, damn, I got another person who believes in love. Can I try to convince them I'm motivated and inspired by love too? That we have the same dream? But do I think over time I can get them to repeat this old pattern with me where none of us really heal and grow and mature, and we never detach? And if I get them in the relationship, then will they be in their ego and be unwilling to end it? And that's why we shouldn't let man-made laws and our ego get involved. When we get in a relationship with someone and somebody is not walking the talk and they aren't who they said they were, then we were lied to and betrayed. And part of it was because we had lessons learned. So it's like, thanks for the lesson. Wish you peace, but I'm leaving. But some people are hoping if they can get them in the relationship, that then they have them trapped. That's what the devil's about, is keeping you trapped in your ego. Oh, I bet they won't leave. They'll be worried about what people will say. They won't be wanting to give up all these things of the world. They won't like people to maybe gossip and talk about them. The whole thing is people gossip and talk about you regardless of how you live your life. So get out of the illusion of that. Get out of your ego about that. Loving, compassionate people who know that they don't know everything that goes on will be loving and compassionate people. The people who are just waiting to jump on a bandwagon to tear someone down so that they can feel better about themselves are going to be doing it anyway. Doesn't matter if you stayed where you were or you left. And the people who might be getting in a relationship with them might try to present themselves as, some of them are going to get in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. Because if they just recently had some loving people in their life or a loving person and they kept rejecting them, well, they might have someone who's more like themselves. Someone who's competitive. And if they're in a relationship right now, they might have some people who want them to get out of that relationship. You look like your dreams are coming into reality with someone else, or just in life. I don't like it. I don't like seeing people or their dreams are going to come into reality. I want you to get in a relationship with me so it looks like my dreams are coming into reality. So everybody could kind of be being tempted by people in their life or people from their past, either one. Some of the people, if those people remind them of people they've went out with before, or they already know that person and they know that person hasn't healed, they won't be willing to move forward with them. If they think some of those people might have healed and they're feeling they're in a mismatched relationship, they might move forward in those relationships. If they both have lessons learned from each other, they will, I think, be drawn and attracted to those people because there is something kind of similar in their life experience that if they work cooperatively, they could both heal and free themselves. But then sometimes even if both people heal themselves, it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm in a mismatched relationship. But the person who might want to be in a relationship with is hiding that they might harness these energies in a shadowy way, which kind of might be like some of these other shadowy people. That they have these ideas of what they think is just and fair. And they think other people should probably think what they think is just and fair is just and fair. And that can be, the problem with some of these other shadowy people. They think the way they live life and the patterns they like to repeat in relationships and how they view how this person's supposed to act and the responsibilities they're supposed to do and how they're maybe supposed to act towards the other person. And everybody can have these ideas of how they view relationships and how they want relationships to play out. And for some of the people who were kind of bossy and controlling, who tried to manipulate people, might want to win at all costs, wear a false mask, some of those people could get in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. And they could be kind of more emotionally shallow and superficial. And it's kind of like, is this really how you want to live your life? Now you're in a relationship with someone who is like you, who maybe is motivated by the same things as you. It's a very toxic relationship, but you got those things in the world. Is this what makes you happy? And if it's not, are you willing to quit thinking that just that and putting so much emphasis on that is going to make you happy? Are you willing to do this work to get out of your illusions, to be enlightened to the truth that it was supposed to be about love, balance? So, but I think the high vibe people are listening to their intuition. If people aren't investing in moving forward with them, and I'm sure there's other people who are, just people in the world who treat people with love and respect. But if there's someone you kind of wanted to bring a dream into reality with, and if those people aren't, I think you're done observing and healing, and you're ready to have that new beginning. And you're going to keep moving forward, offering love to other people in the world who you think might be on the same page, making gestures to people out in the world, living your truth, waiting to find the people who are on the same page. If they're not it, so be it. You're moving on. There you go, Gemini. I wish you peace, love, and joy. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.